So you've got this amazing, incredibly powerful AI, right? It feels like a state-of-the-art steering wheel for your work. But even with the best steering in the world, sometimes you hit a pothole, and the results are just wrong. Well, today we're going to look at those potholes, the common mistakes that cause AI to fail, and more importantly, how you can become a master at avoiding them. So, why does this even happen? I mean, you have access to one of the most powerful tools ever created, and yet sometimes it just gives you complete nonsense. And it can be so frustrating, right? You start to wonder if the AI is even working at all. But here's the secret. Here's the big takeaway for our whole conversation today. More often than not, the problem isn't actually the AI. It's us. It's the way we're asking. And that means we've got to shift our focus from blaming the AI's failures to improving our own methods. Okay, so let's dive right into this. Our first section here is all about a really fundamental mindset shift. It's about moving away from just being a user who barks commands to becoming a true collaborator who actually has a conversation with the AI. This, right here, is the number one trap that almost everyone falls into. Treating that AI prompt box like it's just a Google search bar. On the left, you've got the search engine mindset. You type in a few keywords, and that's fine for retrieving information that already exists. But look at the right. The collaborator mindset uses full sentences. It asks for reasoning. This is how you unlock the AI's actual intelligence. And here's a fantastic rule of thumb to keep in your back pocket. If you find yourself consistently writing prompts that are under, say, 20 words, that's a huge red flag. It's a sign you're probably stuck in that old retrieval mode. You've got to give the model enough detail and context to actually work with. Okay, mistake number 2 is what we call the one-shot fallacy. This is the belief that you send one prompt, and if the response isn't absolutely perfect, you just throw your hands up and say, see, this AI thing is useless. But think about it. That's like expecting a brand new intern to read your mind on their very first day. It's just not realistic. So the real key here is to embrace what we call iterative refinement. That first prompt, it's just a conversation starter. It's not the final word. You analyze that first draft, you give it specific feedback, hey, I like this part, but can you change that part? Just like you would with a junior colleague. And you repeat that process. Trust me, the real magic happens in those follow-up prompts. But okay, what happens when you're just stuck? Maybe you're exploring a totally new topic and you don't even know what to ask for. This is a super common problem, but there's a really clever way around it. You just flip the script. Instead of you prompting it, you ask the AI to become the expert and interview you. You can literally tell it, you are a senior brand strategist. Ask me all the questions you need to build a comprehensive marketing plan for my business. It's brilliant because the AI then guides you to create the perfect prompt. All right, so we've got the right mindset. Now let's get tactical and move on to the actual craft of writing these prompts. This is all about going from fuzzy, vague ideas to crystal clear, precise instructions. And that starts with banning one simple but totally useless word from your prompting vocabulary. That word is better. Seriously, asking an AI to make this better is like telling your GPS to find a better route. Better how? Faster? More scenic? It means nothing without context. So the fix is to trade those subjective adjectives for objective, measurable constraints. Instead of saying, make it more professional, you say, make it suitable for an internal executive memo. Boom. The AI knows exactly what you mean. Instead of just better, you give it concrete directions, like increase the technical detail and use a more authoritative tone. Here's another pro tip. Think about a great prompt's DNA. Most people focus 100% on telling the AI what to do. But you know what elite prompters do? They spend almost a third of their time telling the AI what not to do. This is a game changer, and it's called negative prompting. And here are some perfect examples of what I'm talking about. By giving these negative constraints, you're setting clear guardrails. You can tell it to avoid that cringy corporate jargon, or to skip the fluffy intro and conclusion, or to cut out those eye-rolling cliches like harness the power. This is how you get really clean, direct, and useful output. You've probably heard this classic piece of advice for writers, and guess what? It is absolutely critical for prompting too. Just trying to describe the vibe you want is really hard, and honestly, it often just doesn't work. It's so much more effective to actually show it. And there's a technical term for this. It's called few-shotting. It's super simple. You just find 2 or 3 perfect examples of the output you want, and you paste them directly into your prompt. This gives the AI a crystal clear template to follow for style, for tone, for format. It completely removes all the guesswork. Okay, let's zoom out a little bit. How does all of this fit into a bigger picture, into a workflow? Because it's not just about one perfect prompt, it's about managing an entire conversation to get a complex project done without the quality falling off a cliff. Now, this right here is a classic mistake I like to call the God prompt. It's where you throw a dozen different, really complex tasks at the AI all at once. The problem is, an AI has a limited amount of, let's call it a reasoning budget. The more you ask for at once, the less attention it can pay to any single task, and the quality just plummets across the board. The fix, thankfully, is really simple and easy to remember. One prompt, one clear objective. That's it. Break your complex project down into smaller pieces. Use one prompt to get an outline. Use another one for the research, then a separate one for each section. Think of it like a chain of command, not a chaotic free-for-all. And here's another workflow problem, the context cliff. Have you ever been deep in a conversation, maybe 50 messages in, and suddenly the AI seems to forget really key details from the beginning? Well, you're not imagining it. This happens because models can sometimes lose the thread in the middle of a really long conversation. So, what's the simplest way to avoid falling off that context cliff? Easy. New project, new chat. That's the rule. It keeps the context clean, focused, and relevant. And it makes sure the AI has exactly the information it needs and nothing it doesn't. All right, we're now at our final section. And honestly, this might be the most critical part of our whole talk. These are the high-stakes mistakes, the ones related to blindly trusting what the AI tells you and, just as important, compromising your data security. So let me read you a statement that an AI might generate. It says, "The first digital computer, the Adonisoff Berry computer, was secretly funded by Alan Turing in 1941 to aid the war effort." Now, that sounds pretty plausible, doesn't it? It's got a specific name, a specific date, a famous person. It feels correct. Except it's completely false. Every single key fact in that sentence is made up. That right there is a perfect example of a hallucination. The AI confidently stating fiction as if it were fact. And this is probably the most dangerous trap of all. This is why you absolutely must have a trust but verify policy, especially when it comes to any number, any name, or any date. Use the AI for the structure, for the language, for the ideas. That's what it's great at. But at the end of the day, you are the final fact checker. And finally, a really critical security rule. Never, ever, ever put sensitive information into a public-facing AI tool. This means personal data, corporate trade secrets, your company's proprietary code, sensitive client info, none of it. By default, that data could be used to train future models, and you have absolutely no idea where it might end up. So let's wrap all of this up. It's so easy to get frustrated when an AI gets something wrong, but I want you to try and reframe that in your mind. Every mistake isn't a failure of the tool. It's actually a data point. It's a clue that's telling you exactly how to make your next prompt even better. So I'll leave you with this final question to think about. What if every single AI failure isn't a dead end at all, but is actually a lesson in disguise, teaching you how to become a more precise communicator and a more effective collaborator? When you really start to see it that way, I promise you, everything changes.